I was encouraged a lot to do my best, put in my best, and just hard work. And there was no reason why I should be really worried about this whole comparison thing. And honestly speaking, for some reason, weird reason, I just battled with it. Okay, I battled with it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joy Ada. In case you're new, thank you so much for stopping by. You're welcome. I really appreciate your presence around here. Just in case you like it here already, please do click on that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so that whenever I post any video, you are the first to be notified. And to my older returning subscribers, you all are highly welcome. Thank you so much for coming back again. I appreciate your love and your support, and I don't take it for granted. Thank you. So you guys, it's almost 2 a.m. in the morning, and this thing I want to share with you has been on my mind. And honestly speaking, I feel like I'm going to be sharing more of things like this on my channel going forward. I don't know, but let's see how it goes. But I really feel like at this point in time, I should incorporate things like this, with the lifestyle vlogs I do and everything, because this is basically life lessons, life principles, faith, things like that, honestly. And yeah, I hope you guys really learn, and also talking to my younger self and those that are younger than me, for you to learn one or two things from, should I say, my mistakes, or my just lessons that I've learned, honestly, so you don't have to have the experience, because I know they say experience is the best teacher, but honestly speaking, you just do not have to experience some things for you to learn and know them. Okay, so that's where I'm just going to leave it for this introduction. Let us now get right into the reason why I put up my camera at this time of the night to shoot a video, because I wanted to do some other thing. But yeah, let's get into it. So I want to talk about never comparing yourself. I'm going to share with you a little bit of my life story or experience, so you can have some context as to what I'm going to be talking about. And this is just going to be like way back to primary school. So when I was in primary school, I used to be compared with a lot of other pupils in primary school then. And don't get me wrong, let me just put this whole thing in context so that you can understand. So I grew up in a home where I was encouraged a lot to do my best, put in my best, and just hard work. And there was no reason why I should be really worried about this whole comparison thing. And honestly speaking, for some reason, weird reason, I just battled with it. Okay, I battled with it. I came from a home where, you have the freedom of expression. You can actually say or tell or say, oh, this thing, I don't really like it, and everyone it's not the regular African parents kind of vibe that I grew up with. Yeah, that's what I'm just gonna say. So back to my primary school. So mind you, I was being encouraged at home and everything. I was being taught well and all of that stuff. But whenever I got to the primary school, I just was compared to or with every some other pupils who who were kind of better off in terms of like the academic work and stuff. So this seed of comparison was not like personally from me or from my immediate home or environment where I grew up in. It just had to do with me going out there, going to school, and then seeing a teacher or teachers comparing me with other students who seem to be top of the class and stuff like that. So I remember this vividly, and it was just in primary school. I was in primary 2 at the time, or primary 3. That's to tell you, I was about 6 or 7 years old, something like that, honestly. And for me to remember this thing like yesterday, I can't forget it. It shows you how terrible this monster of a comparison is, because let us face it, you guys, this thing called comparison is a real life situation. And I know some people have no business with comparison, like they don't really have a problem, they're not they don't compare themselves with people, and it's not really a problem for them. They don't get jealous of people, they don't get envious of people. Some people are just like that. But for some other people who are not like that, or who were not like that before, but because of the environment that they've grown up in, or because of the environment where they grew up in, or they are growing up in, they see themselves now comparing themselves with other people, not because it's personally from them, but because of their environment, or wherever they find themselves, or whenever they visit a particular place or are in a particular environment, then they see themselves comparing themselves. That was kind of my situation. So in this primary school, I had, we had this English class, and I'm going to tell you the danger of it. So this English teacher finished teaching everything. Of course, the teachers in primary school will teach you all the subjects. So she finished teaching that English, and then when I was going to write my classwork, because after teaching they give you a classwork, you submit, they mark it and all that. So in my head, I had finished answering that classwork correctly, to be honest, because by the time you put everything together, you realize that this thing is a very simple work, right? So in my head, because I had been compared prior to that class exercise, I feel it in my head, but because of the fear and all the the way I was feeling down and everything, I was out of fear. I forgot to feel it in my exercise book, and then I submitted it. And to be honest, I was expecting 5/5, just to prove to that teacher that I can do so much better than this pupil that she had compared me with at the time. Anyway, guess what? My paper came back to me and it was 0/5, Odo/5. And let me tell you, this teacher did not stop there. She went ahead to draw eyes, nose, mouth, ear, and everything. You guys that are schooled in Nigerian schools, primary school, you understand what I'm saying. So, and then of course they'll pass the work around. So they passed our books around, and she was just waiting to tell you how intentional this person was about comparing me with someone and making sure she ruined every little ounce of every ounce of confidence and self-respect and esteem that I had. She waited for that paper to get to me, and then she just I don't even know the word to express it. She was like, yeah, you that is supposed to be this, that. This is what you're scoring. And guys, in that my very small, little, fearful mind at the time, it was just terrible. All I had to do was just write the correction and send it across for them to mark it that, okay, yes, so I've seen it. But that experience really began to shape my life as a child, right? It shaped my life up to secondary school and even up to year 1. Now I'm sharing this academic part of it because it cuts across, this whole thing about comparison cuts across several areas of life, but this academic part was what it continued. I could see the trend in my academic life, or in my academic work, up until my first year in the university. So I kept on with this fear. I never really liked this teacher. I in fact told my mom that I wanted to change my class. I didn't want to be in this class again. And mind you, the school I went to, they used to class us like red, yellow, green, blue, that kind of stuff, and those are in red, they are like the intelligent ones. So for me to be in red, you will know that I am actually, my IQ is high, right? But for some reason, that teacher just felt like I shouldn't be in red. Maybe I should be in green or blue, because that's how they kind of like classed students at the time. And I don't know, maybe it's just colors, or maybe students in yellow too were also good or whatever, but at least that's what I understood at the time, that all these things were happening. And that thing really bruised my self-esteem. It bruised my self-confidence. I just could not see myself performing very well. Each time I had a class exercise or had exams, I was so scared. I was always afraid of failing, just because I was scared of what these teachers were going to say. It continued up until, secondary school, JSS 1 to 3. Thank God when I went to the school, nobody really knew me like that. So, it wasn't really a concern for me. But by the time I got to SS1, these teachers, they now knew me. They were now like, oh, this is the child of so 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 and so, this is the daughter of so 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 and so. And so I now got into SS1, and guys, you have to choose either science or arts. Anyway, I chose science. I'm laying this background story because I'm going to build up on something later, and I'm going to tell you things that I did that helped me just take away this whole thing about comparison. And yeah, I'm in a so much better place, so much better position that you know what, I'll talk about that later on. So I went into SS1, and I had to go into science class because personally I just feel like God just orders my life around. Okay, he just tells me what to do at every point in time. And even if I didn't really have such a personal experience with him, because I was just a moral kid, I was just a pastor's kid, just a good girl, even if I wasn't so good, you understand, like experiencing Jesus and everything, as at SS1, I got into that science class, and one teacher, a chemistry teacher, I'm not even going to mention her name, just because it doesn't matter anymore. Okay, I'm not going to mention her name, but I'm just going to talk about the experience I had, especially with chemistry. Mind you, I was also having some kind of little issues with other subjects, but this person really picked on me, and she kept comparing me to a particular girl in school as at then. And I'm like, look, I am not this person. There is no way I can be this person, right? Please just leave me alone. But I didn't know how to express myself that way, and so I never did well in chemistry. I only see, if I scored 52, I was jumping up. Like, I wouldn't literally jump up in front of my parents or anybody else, but in my heart I'm jumping. At least I passed, because 50 was a pass mark. So I remember I scored 52. Like, I never really did well in that chemistry. First, second, third term, never did well. Well, things began to change for me by the time I entered SS2. I met another chemistry teacher, because at this time we needed another chemistry teacher that would split classes and teach SS2 yellow and SS2 red at the time. And oh, bless her soul, I don't even want to mention her name, she's late now, but that lady, if that was the only reason for which she was put on earth here, that purpose was fulfilled. Now, speaking about purpose, I will talk about that in maybe some other videos that I will put out there. But yeah, that lady, although late now, I can never forget what kind of seed she planted in me for me to do so much better at chemistry than I ever did since I started the senior secondary school, since I started this in senior secondary school. So this lady called me aside, and she was like, Joy, I see you have a lot of potential. You are very intelligent, but what is it that scares you really, that you don't know how to transfer this thing that you have in your head into your book? This was so personal for me, because no one had ever called me. Mind you, I have very good parents who are very good at not just leading you in the way of the Lord and everything. They general life principles and lessons, they lay it down, they tell you, but when you go out there, I just met people, or these people who crushed me. But for some weird reason, I feel like I scaled through, because even if I went out and people were crushing me and crushing my self-confidence, comparing me and everything, whenever I came in, that self-confidence was built up. And that's why I never went as low as I should have, based on what was happening at the time. Anyway, back to my story. This lady encouraged me, and she told me I could do very well. But you guys, there's only so much that can happen outside. I mean, inside, I could take the advice and everything and take that encouragement. But outside, I was like, people have really bashed me so much. So I don't really think this person is telling me the truth, right? So, but something now happened in my life that really changed everything for me. Fast forward to SS2 third term, I met Jesus and I received him in my life, and you guys, that was the beginning of my change of story.
So I forgot to talk about the year one part that I mentioned earlier. So when I got into the university after seeing my first semester result, I was so shattered. I was battered, you guys. And I was like, oh my god, what happened in secondary and primary school is about to happen again. But you guys, I just went back to the word of God, reminded myself over and again that you know what, I'm not in any competition with nobody but myself. And that was all I needed to scale through that part of my life in that phase.
And look, I don't want to sound all, like I'm trying to be all spiritual or anything, but that is exactly how it happened for me, you guys. I came out of that trench of comparison just by meeting and experiencing and encountering Jesus. It was just in a Sunday service, and since 2009, April 19th, my life has changed, and that was it. So, when you become a new Christian, you want to experience God, you want to know God. I just dedicated my life and everything. And honestly speaking, this part of my life was something I was really, really struggling with. And I just laid it bare at the feet of Jesus. And I told him, see, God, look, I know my parents are really doing what they should do as parents, because trust me, I've got the best ever. But for some reason, people out there, they just feel like I can't do better or more than I currently am doing. And I know that you are a God of excellence, and I know that I cannot disappoint you. So I need to be excellent in everything I do going forward. And that was just the turning point for me. I just began to experience God more, and he began to show me through his word how wonderfully and fearfully I was made, and that it did not matter what anybody was saying. So that is my point one. My point one is, it does not matter what anybody says about you. I love this saying that Kenneth Hagin, late Kenneth Hagin usually says or said when he was alive. I am dead to the praise and the censure of men. Trust me, you guys, I never knew about this until my husband told me about it, and it made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense. Being dead to the praise and the censure of men. Look, let me tell you something. Don't expect anybody to praise you or criticize you or anything like that before you feel like you can perform or do as well as you should. Okay, now this does not take away the fact that you can be corrected or constructively criticized, not the destructive type that I went through before I met Jesus. Now you really need to take into consideration the fact that nobody really owes you anything, because at this point and at this stage in my life, although it took me a while to get to where I am at right now, I expect less than nothing from anybody. And I'm saying in terms of everything and anything. I mean it, and I'm serious. I'm very serious about it, especially when it comes to, I don't want to call it performance, but when it comes to like doing things in life, like fulfilling purpose. And you guys, mine was quite a long journey, and I'm going to share the story later on, but not now. I'll share the story of how finishing secondary school, waiting for admission and everything. I'm just going to talk about that in terms of like, it's something else, honestly, because if I begin to talk about it, this video is going to be like season feel. Anyway, so that is one thing that has helped me with this whole comparison of the thing. Nobody really cares, okay? And you shouldn't really care. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. And then another thing is having a change of mindset. And I'm going to wrap this having a change of mindset into encountering Jesus, because the moment I encountered Jesus, everything that this other chemistry teacher was telling me began to make a lot of sense. And that was just the turning point for me, because oh my god, it was really a lot. But I'm just glad that I am so much out of that trench, and anybody and I see, or I can share this experience with. I try to share the experience with, just so you know that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. I began to see myself in a different light. My mindset began to change. I began to see the person that I owe, like the person that I'm accountable to, who is God, as one who is excellent, and so I should do everything as excellently as he will do it, and he expects me to do it. So that was just how everything happened, and I left that trench of comparison. never expecting anything from anybody. Whether I did well or I did not do well, all I just told myself was I am accountable to God, and He's the only person. So whenever I feel like when God, because let me tell you, this walk with the Holy Spirit, you guys, it can be so much on a very personal level. I don't know about you, but the Holy Spirit will be the one. You'll be conversing with me the way I'm talking to you right now. He'll be like, girl, this thing you did, no, you shouldn't have done it. Or, okay, this thing you did, you done very well. Kudos to you. And you guys, it took me a whole lot before I could. Right now, I can't even like, I'm just like, I'm so dead to the praise and censure of men. When you tell me all this, that I'm like, oh, thank you. But honestly speaking, before then, I would be looking for someone to praise me and say, oh, you've done very well or something. But now, please keep your praise to yourself. I don't care. As long as my Father in heaven is happy with me, that's all that matters. You're fearfully and wonderfully made by God. Never compare yourself with anybody. I know a lot of people in this present generation compare themselves with everybody on the internet. You're not everybody on the internet, my dear. You don't have to be fair. You don't even have to be dark. You're beautiful as you are, fearfully and wonderfully made. Your skin color is perfect. Let me tell you, He knows you. He knows your end from your beginning. He knows every single hair on your head. He knows the number of it. So if number 649 fell out today as you were combing your hair or just doing something with your hair, God knows. That's how intentional He is with us. And you guys, I never knew this part of the thing, even if I was, a moral child, pastor's kid and stuff. I mean, I heard these things, but on a very personal level, very personal experience with God, I never really, experienced this thing. But by the time my mindset changed, I began to understand that, look, I don't have to compare myself. I don't have to compare myself with anybody, because God has made me special. I am special. I am amazing. I am beautiful. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. My memory is blessed. Honestly speaking, you guys, reading the scriptures began to change things for me. I began to tell myself I'm the head and never the tail. Even when that teacher, because trust me, she came back again to say stuff. As soon as she's saying it, I am replying with the word of God in my head and saying I am the head and not the tail. I am above only and never beneath, and things like that. So yeah, you guys, that's just it. That's just the story I just thought to share. And I don't know, I hope this video is not even too long, but I hope you've picked one or two things. You don't have to compare yourself with anybody. You don't have to compare your race with anybody. Stay in your lane, because see, this road of life is an expressway. Okay, it is not how fast but how well. And I remember this word very well because that lady told me about it, and she said, I was like, because I really had to express my concerns to her, and I told her, look, ma'am, I understand that you're being really nice and you're trying to help me out here, but I don't know how well I'm going to do, because I feel like a lot of other people are so much ahead of me. You guys, this is just bringing so much memories back to me, and I'm feeling so nostalgic right now. I can remember staying on her table and she was telling me, Joy, it is not how far or how fast, but it is how well. So I need you to take your time to achieve this. I want you to make me proud. That was what she told me. And you guys, I don't want to start to cry here, but I just want to say that if that was the only purpose for which that woman was created, to come into my life and just make things, because she was a Christian as well, and she was trying to preach to me and everything, but honestly speaking, you guys, it had to take God personally, coming to me and helping me encounter Him, right, before this whole thing this lady was saying made sense. But yeah, that's just like the story. Don't compare yourself with anybody. Don't compare your marriage with anybody. It's just very funny because a lot of people they like couple goals and stuff. I mean, I'm not saying don't emulate good marriages or things that happen in people's lives or marriages and stuff. No, you can emulate those things, but never you ever be caught in that web of comparison, because it is such a dangerous place to be in. It is so dangerous, you guys. Don't compare your race, your life experiences. You're just very different, my darling. You're so different. You're so precious in God's sight. Everything about you is very different, very different. Even if you were twins from your mother's womb, same same placenta, monochorionic, monoamniotic. Even if you're coming from one placenta and one sac, one amniotic sac, please, you're very different. Don't ever compare yourself with anybody. And you guys, let me tell you, what such relief to just know that, you know what, I don't have to compare myself with nobody, because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. God has created joy at that. And by the time you have this understanding, you begin to fully express yourself. Because comparing yourself with somebody, how do you even know that that person is really expressing or fulfilling his or her full potential? And then you're just there comparing yourself with that person when you can do so much more than that person you're comparing yourself with is doing. That's the irony of life, you guys. Well, I've spoken a whole lot, and I just hope this video is not so long and you've taken something out of it. So to my younger self, I would say never compare yourself with anybody, because I feel like I would have done, quicker or a lot more things faster than I did them if I had never compared myself with anybody. And let me tell you, just don't give heed to the naysayers. Those people that keep trying to say, let's do this one or let's do that one. I feel like what you're doing is not really, just don't just hit them, okay? Don't mind them, don't mind what they say. Don't care about those people that tell you, oh, you're this color or you're that color. My darling, it does not count, it does not matter. You know why? Because God has not said anything that they are saying about you to you. Only what God has said is what stands. And this thing, you guys, just these two things, right? Not heeding what people say, not caring about what people say. Even when you tell me hey, you're doing so well this time around, like at this stage in my life, or when I was coming out of this whole thing, it never really mattered to me. I remember one incident when someone was telling me, you're very beautiful and all that. I just like, okay. And he was like, why are you so rude? Why can't you say thank you? And I'm like, hey, I looked at my mirror this morning, and that was a period where I was like coming out of this whole comparison thing. So I really needed every aspect of my life to, be padded and, well, insulated from this whole thing called comparison. And so I was like, I looked at my mirror this morning, and my mirror told me I'm beautiful. And in my head, I'm like, even God has said it, that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I don't need you to tell me that I'm beautiful. So yeah, this is where I'm going to end my chit chat video. Let me go ahead with what I wanted to do. I wanted to edit a YouTube video. So let me just go ahead and do all of that. And I hope you guys, my younger self, and those that are younger than me, in case you're in this situation, I hope you've learned one or two things. I have a lot of stories I feel like I'm going to be sharing on here, but some of them I might go into details, some of that I might not go into details. And I really miss doing sit down videos. So hopefully this is going to carry on for a while. Thank you so much for sticking with me, you guys. Please click on that subscribe button, turn on the bell icon, share till I come your way again next time, you guys. Bye.